Hi everyone, it's Paul here. This is the video for day 4 of the Cheltenham Festival. Recording this 45 minutes just after the end of day 3. Tough day today, it has to be said. The Mer, Lorena was just unbelievable, very impressive. And yeah, you've got to be taken with that. Undersu disappointed, don't think he got the best ride. I think Paul Townend went a bit over the top up front. And I don't know, I think that's just one of those where the horse is made for the jockey, Ruby Walsh, really. Even though it wasn't the main pick, Delta Works won really well. 10 to 1 this morning, which I got, and it came into, I think it was 6 to 1 at the off. That was interesting. And I was gutted for Maldini at the end, though once again, I think it was almost the opposite of Undersu. I think Patrick Mullins left it too late. And that is pretty much the first front-running winner that we have had this week. But anyway, on to day 4, and it kicks off, as always, with the Triumph Hurdle. It's a really interesting renewal this year. Sometimes you can have substandard years. I think this could turn out to be a very good Triumph. The obvious place to start is Apple Shakira, the unbeaten Merv Nicky Henderson. The thing that's going to just jump off the page at everyone is all of the wins have been at Cheltenham. And the further she goes up the hill, the better. The interesting one as well, look back through the form lines. 2 of the horses beat very easily last time out, or in the last couple of runs, were Noob Negra and Look My Way. Noob Negra obviously went down for all guns blazing in second at the festival, and Look My Way run really well. So not brilliant Frank, but a pretty well Frank form, really. One of the horses who's reopposing today, Gumball, she beat with ease as well. And I don't think that horse is no slouch, to be fair. Reddition is going to be interesting. Won the Adonis at Kempton, is unbeaten. The only slight reservation I have for Reddition is all of his starts have been at Kempton, where Apple Shakira's got the proven course form. Reddition's wins have been on a flat right-handed track, and on Friday he's going to be tackling a left-handed undulating track, which you never know if it's going to suit as much. Stormy Island is going to be of interest for Willie Mullins. Very interesting mare. Impressive 58 length winner on the only start for Mullins. It's a huge class hike, but as you've even seen with the likes of Lorena today, Willie Mullins gets very good progress out of his mares. He obviously won Dia de Benny earlier this week. The David Nicholson as well. So any Willie Mullins mare has got to be taken very seriously. Farclas is interested as well. Good seconds in Group 2 and Group 1 the last couple of starts. Needs a bit more here. And Farclas usually, I think, in an average Triumph, probably would be up there for favourite based on what he's done, but it does look a very good year this year. And the other one to mention is Mr. Adjudicator, also for Willie Mullins. 2 for 2, unbeaten, including a Grade 1 latest, and it is the type he's going to get further improvement from it. It's really tricky, but I do love, as you know, people who follow me, proven course form. So I'm happy to go with Apple Shakira from Stormy Island and Mr. Adjudicator. 2:10, race ahead, the county hurdle, massive cavalry charge with the horses everywhere. Very tough to predict. Chesterfield is getting an honourable mention because this is a spring horse, comes alive in the spring. Those who followed my WhatsApp service as well will know I tipped it up for a hurdle race a couple of months ago and ran okay, wasn't fully ready yet. I then tipped it up again about 3 weeks ago on the Bumpers for Jumpers card at Kempton, and it won with ease. Generally better on better ground though, but Chesterfield could give you a run for the money. Blue Rouge is interesting for Willie Mullins, and he's likely to be favourite by the looks of it here. His second in the Betfair Hurdle has been Frank, with obviously Kalashnikov running an absolute belter in the Supreme Novice. Had a very tough race that day, but you know, it's a type Willie Mullins can produce them on the day. A Hairbreadth is very interesting for Ben Paulin as well, because this one goes well fresh, needs to be fresh, and it's been off the track for a long time. Has had a handful of really good runs at the course as well, seems versatile on the ground, and you can pretty much guarantee a Hairbreadth is going to run a race for you at a decent price. Obviously, all being well, it doesn't fall, get unseated or brought down or anything like that. You can pretty much say it's going to go okay. Sands End for Willie Mullins as well, improved to win a Grade 3 latest and needs to come on again. He can do it, but I don't know, this county hurdle might be a year too early for it. I'm not sure though. He's a good horse. And you've got to mention Flying Tiger because obviously it was the previous Fred Winter winner. But this is a better horse on better ground and it is pretty soft still there. My idea of the winner, though, is a big price. It's currently around 16 to 1. And that is someone who finished a place behind Blue Way Rouge in the Betfair. And that is Spirit of the Games. Came third that day. And was just, I don't know, was closing at the end, but didn't seem to have as tough a race as Blue Way Rouge did. Also came second in a listed race as well. So he's got not just a one-hit wonder in a handicap, but done it in a listed level as well. So it's got he's got the form in the book. And off 10 stone 11 for a horse that loves soft, he's got a lot going for him, Spirit of the Games, and could just have a bit more improvement in him. Really tough as always, but 1, 2, 3, Spirit of the Games from Blue Way Rouge and a Hairbreath. 250 is a really good race. It's always one of my favourites of the festival, and that is the Albert Bartlett Novices Hurdle. Nicky Henderson is mob-handed in this, and all of them seem to have a pretty good shout. OK Corral is 2 from 3 this season, doing nothing wrong, and Nicky Henderson it's the type of horse Nicky Henderson does really well with, because this has had a lot of injury issues through his career. He's only actually had 5 runs in the last 3.5 years, both in England and Ireland. Never raced above a class 4 though, but if anyone's going to get the improvements, it'll be Nicky Henderson. So he's not making the top 3, but I'm very wary of OK Corral. Another one who I think is overpriced, but I'm not putting him on the top 3, is a horse called Ennis Coffee Oscar. He was a really brave winner of a Grade 2 latest, showed really good attitude, battling all the way to the line. He stays well on soft as well, and I think the hill will go into his advantage. But whether he's got to be more at home in handicaps in due course rather than, you know, a graded race like this, I'm not sure. But I think at 25 to 1, he is overpriced. The fly in the ointment here, though, could be Chris's Dream. It was a 64 length winner of a Grade 3 in a 3 mile latest. But I thought at first, well, that jumps off the page. But it's 2 rivals that day. One of them was Monk's End, I think it was, for Gordon Elliott, and there was another one in the Potts colours. One pulled up and one finished distressed. So the big 2 market rivals that day just did not fire whatsoever. So I think the 64 length winning margin is pretty much flat at the horse. I'm not saying he hasn't got improvement in it, but it makes the form line hard to read. And that always worries me that sometimes. It's a bit like Sam Spinner when I said I just did not fancy Sam Spinner. And he run a decent race, but proved this is not his level at the festival level, basically. 2 to look at here, and I think these are going to be right at the fighting out the finish, is the 2 Nicky Henderson horses. The favourite looks like it's going to be Santini. Now, Santini is unbeaten, beat Black Op on Trials Day, and Black Op has then run an absolute screamer behind, I think it was Sam Crow, and he beat the other rival here, Chef des Obeaux, by 4.5 lengths. So that form is solid and it's in the book. Chef des Obeaux is also trained by Nicky Henderson, 3 from 4 this season, including winning a Grade 2 by 15 lengths. Now that was an impressive performance. Loves soft ground. Where with the fight with Santini was over 2.5, he got better for the step up to 3 mile, which is the trip you've got today. And I think I'm going to take a chance that Chef des Obeaux with this longer trip and the hill is going to improve past Santini, but it's a bit of a shot in the dark, but that's just what my heart's telling me on this. One who I think could fill the places at a double figure price is Poetic Rhythm. Has won a Grade 2 and a Grade 1 this season. Has got decent course form in the past, run well here. 2.5 seems to be the trip, but the fact that I think it was at Newbury, kept on finding all the way to the line. I can't remember if it's Newbury or Doncaster. Suggests 3 miles should be okay, and a slog is just what he's after, but might just find the class of the Henderson pair a bit too much. Really good renewal. 1, 2, 3 though. Chef des Obeaux from Santini and Poetic Rhythm. And that brings us to the big one on day 4, the 330, which is the Cheltenham Gold Cup, over 3 mile 2. And well, yeah, it's an unbelievable race. Really big draw for the crowds as well. And this year we've already got co-favourites of 3 currently at 9 to 2, which says how open the Gold Cup is this year. No one has come and taken it by the scruff of the neck as it would be. The obvious place to start is Might Bite. Last year's RSA winner nearly threw it away, hanging towards the stand side before rallying to get up and beat Whisper. Came back and won an ordinary race at Sandown. Then was the King George winner, but people are cramping that form because Double Shuffle came second. and like different ones, like Thistlecrack was back in third, I think, and he didn't seem to run his race, and Bristol Demai didn't run his race. But you can only beat what's in front of you that day, and he did that. I do wonder, with his big, bold, front-running style, if he'd be better on better ground. And I think he's going to go close, but I just don't know. And he's not gone back to Cheltenham since the RSA. Is he going to hang again? People say he's a year older, which he is. He's a bit more wise now, which he is. But we don't know. Road to Respect is interesting. Consistent. Won the Brown Group Plate last season. And what you've noticed is with like Penn Hill winning today is people have got in the handicaps last season and then stepping up into this open company. And also Balco de Floss, I suppose, to some degree, who's gone well in handicaps and jumped up to there. That's something to look out for. Plus, Road to Respect beat Balco de Floss last time out. So I suppose there's a bit of franking of the form there. And Road to Respect, you've got to give him a lot of respect, really. Our Duke is very interesting, Irish Grand National winner, so you know he's going to stay forever. Bounced back after a couple of really bad runs this season, beating Presenting Percy last time out, and obviously Presenting Percy's come out, absolutely walked home in the RSA, so the form has been franked. Basically, he's got stamina in abundance, he goes on the ground. Our Duke is a very good horse. The only worry is he's never really gone like to Cheltenham before and proven it around there, and that would be a concern. The other thing that is a concern is if you see horses bounce back from injury and then relapse onto it, a bit like Q Card. He was under weather when he was second in the Betfair, then they roughed him off for a while, then they brought him back for Ascot and he came back, and then today he's pulled up again. So that is the nagging doubt I've got for our Duke, to be honest. Definitely Red has won his last two, including the Trials Day in January. Loves soft, and I think he's going to be in the first five, but the form lines are just a bit weaker than the main hitters in the market, really. Kilulta Vic is interesting because he might have won the big race in Ireland in February, but for falling at the last. But he's one of those horses of untapped, unlimited potential who's gone at the festival before. I just don't like backing horses on the back of falling last time. It's always like a little thing of mine. And I think he could go well, but it's a bit of a risk. Total Recall for Willie Mullins. Now, I actually said this horse is an outsider for the Gold Cup, and I got ribbed by a lot of messages off people saying, how can you say this, blah, 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 blah. This was when he was like 25, 33 to 1. I said there's worse bets to have. He's into about 10 to 1 now, and I can understand why. He won the Ladbroke Trophy, which is formerly the Hennessy. He then come back over hurdles and won over that. And he is a horse that is improving leaps and bounds. And it is the type of improving horses like this can run very, very well in Gold Cups. It's been proven over the years. He stays really, really well. And I don't think he's necessarily going to win it. And I've always maintained that. But I do think he could very, very easily run into a place. My idea for the winner, though, is what I've been with this horse. Basically, back there at Anti-Post. At 10s and then again at 8s, and he's into 4 to 1 now, and that is Native River. Third in this race last year, but he had a much, much harder season. He had gone into I think it was the Hennessy, wasn't it, he won? Then went and won the Welsh Grand National, then went for the Denman Chase, then he went here, so it was his fourth run, and he looked the winner until the last 50, 60 yards and just got run out of it, and I just wonder if it was just one race too much. This year, he's come back, had a very easy race in the end, but had a good blow after the Denman Chase. You know he's going to stay. You know he goes at the course. You know he likes soft ground. So he actually ticks all the boxes what we want there. It's a great Gold Cup. I can't wait to watch it. 1, 2, 3, Native River from Might Bite and Total Recall. The race after the Gold Cup is the 4:10, which is the Foxhunter Chase. So the Gold Cup trip, it's the Gold Cup for amateurs. The favourite here, I can't believe, I'm not saying it's not going to win, but Burning Ambition in places here is 5 to 2. He's had 2 good runs in Hunter Chasers this season, but no better than that. And I'm not saying he's not going to win, but bear in mind this is an amateur rider's race as well. 5 to 2, 11 to 4 generally seems very, very short. I wonder, depending on results, if they will push him out later on in the day tomorrow. But he's not jumping out on the page at me, Burning Ambition, to be honest with you. Fox Rock is interesting, formerly with Ted Walsh. He's not there now because he has got a touch of class. But he's gone a few times to the course and he's never fired around Cheltenham for whatever reason. Maybe they were trying to make races too high a class, like the Ryanair, etc. But but he's just never gone well here. But what I'm going for here, for a 1-2-3, believe it or not, and stranger things have happened. I did try this one year and it did come off. If you look back on the videos in the Triumph Hurdle when I said a Nicky Henderson 1-2-3, I think it could be a Paul Nicholls 1-2-3 here, because he's got 3 great chances. Wonderful Charm came second in this last year. Astride After the Line would have won. I think if you were to ask Katie Walsh, she would tell you she gave it a bad ride. Gave it far too much to do. Everything was flat out and came flying home and had tons of horse left under her. And I just wonder if she got it wrong. Back on it again, I think this year. And I think Wonderful Charm compensation awaits here. Virac is interesting because those who were on my WhatsApp service will know on his comeback run, I got a tip for this from someone connected to the yard. He was only 11-10, I think it was at the time, but they said the target is the Hunter Chase. He is going to win 2 races. This is the first one he's going to win. It was 11-10. I think it got backed in and he won, I think, by 15 lengths in the end. It's one of the best tips I've had this year. And Virac, in his day, was a very classy horse. Got abundance of stamina, done nothing wrong this season. And Virac, I think, is going to go very close. Pasha de Polder was last year's winner. And the year before that was when Victoria Pendleton rode and came just out the places. She got a lot of stick. I thought that was a good ride. Has had 1 run this year and came 3rd when favourite, but just seemed to blow up, but did stay on well. So I think badly needed the run. It's another year older and it wasn't a great run, I won't lie to you. But I think as well, this horse absolutely loves the course. And I think another big run on the card from Pasha de Polder at 16-1 this year. For a 1-2-3 then, I'm going to stick with it. The Paul Nicholls treble on this one. Wonderful Charm from Virac and Pasha de Polder. 450 is a nightmare because it is the conditional jockeys Martin Pipe Hurdle. The one that is of interest here to start with is Dissay de Beefs. A very good horse. Was 3 3/4 lengths behind William Henry last time out at Kempton. William Henry then ran really well in a handicap earlier this week in a better race than this. This 2 mile 4, a stiffer test with a hill, promises to be ideal. And I think Dissay de Beefs is going to go very close. Carter McKay is interested because he was favourite virtually for the whole of last season for the Champion Bumper, right up to the off. But travelled well, but just seemed to weaken up the hill, pull too hard. That is a worry when someone disappoints that much at the festival, and been okay over hurdles, but no world beater. Flawless Escape has got a piece of form that's jumping out at me, and that is coming 3rd over hurdles to Total Recall. It was travelling probably as well as the winner between the last 2, but didn't get home over the 3 mile. Now the 2 mile 4 is much more to his liking, I think, but I just still wonder 2 mile 4 with the steep finish makes it like a 3 mile on a flat. If again is going to be there between the last 2, but just not quite get home. Got to mention Brillari Memento for the Keithleys because they love this horse, and this horse loves Cheltenham, and that is a massive one. Forget his last run at Cheltenham, or her last run at Cheltenham, I should say. Came back not 100%, but then came out next time and can comprehensively beat a horse called Red Indian. Now, Red Indian then came out and came 6th in the Coral, which was a great run. Brillari goes on softer ground, has got course form, distance form, and if presuming is in the same form as last time, is completely and utterly overpriced at 25-1, in my opinion. For the winner, though, I'm actually going for the Willie Mullins yard in this one, and a horse called Deal d'Estraval. Was really eye-catching over 2 mile 5 on debut. Travelled well and just seemed to not really quicken on, but just keep going all the way to the line. Then went back to 2 miles, which is a bit of a shock move, and got beat, but flew home, just staying on again all the way to 2nd. The step back up to 2.5 mile is ideal. And again, after only a couple of runs, it's a type of horse Willie Mullins, I think, is going to go and find the improvement with. It's a really tough race, and it looks a decent renewal this year, but from a 1-2-3, Deal d'Estraval from Brillare Memento and Dissay de Beefs. And sadly, that brings us to the last race of day 4 and the last race of the festival, which is the biggest nightmare race, along with a lot of the other handicaps, and that is the 2 mile Johnny Henderson Grand Annual. Got to start with Rock the World, because he came 3rd and 1st in the last 2 renewals of this. But he's another year older, and I think the ground has just gone too soft for him this year. But, you know, if you can take that the ground as he's got older, potentially could run well. Now in the colours of JP McManus too, who does like this race. Don't Touch It is also in the McManus colours. He's on a really nice mark, but has been poor this season. So the only way I can see that winning is if this is a completely set up swizz where the horse was never going to win all season to get the mark down and preparing it for the day. But unless you know someone in the yard, you're not going to know. North Hill Harvey has gone for this instead of the Arkle, which I think is clever when you saw what Footpad did. Loves the course, but I'm still sticking by what I said on my Arkle video around North Hill Harvey. North Hill Harvey seems to be a winter horse. I'm not if you look at his form, it's not there in the spring. They're saying that he's never gone for races as weak. I say weak. He's been in Group 1s and stuff as this, but that just tempers it slightly. The Inville you've got to mention for Nicky Henderson. He's a very good horse and has gone well here in the past, but he had a fall 3 starts ago, and his 2 races since then have not been as good, and I just wonder if his confidence has just been dented slightly since. That leaves us to the top 3 I've got here, and they are all, because you might as well go out with a bang, they are all huge prices. One I've got to mention is Gino Trail. Again, on my WhatsApp service, tipped him up when he won at 7-2 last time out. He is a really good horse, a big, bold front runner. So horses are like, finds plenty at the end, goes hard, but he's got a huge weight now. He's paid the price for his successes and even his consistent runs in defeat. But Gino Trail, what I love last time, the way he attacked the fences up the hill at the end of 2 Mile, when he won over this course and distance. I really do like Gino Trail, and I think he is, again, he's overpriced at 16-1. Top Gamble is a really interesting one here at the weights. Came 4th in the Queen Mother last year. Not as good this season, I don't think. It's second to Undersue when Undersue was right on form. It's pretty good form. But the one thing that keeps jumping out at me is he's had many, many runs around Cheltenham, and he's never been out the top 5 ever at Cheltenham. And bearing in mind, most bookies are paying top 5, even top 6 on the Grand Annual. Top Gamble at 20-1 in places should be nailed on to at least give us a decent run. And I said, he's got, for a horse with a bit of class, he's got a great weight. But with the weight, I'm actually going for the top weight as it would be. And that is the very classy Garde La Victoire, because this horse loves soft ground. In the back of the day, he's beaten Fox Norton over this course and distance before. Over the course, I should say, over 2 Mile, I think it was. And Fox Norton is a very, very good horse and would have at least had a say in the Queen Mother. No, nothing would have beat Altior, but he would have been close for the Queen Mother. He was also cruising in the JLT. Look at the race a few years ago when he fell. It was still probably half a mile from home, but he was going so well. He does like this course. He has a huge weight, but I'm going to take a risk because he's got a horse who's got class, he's got proven course form, and he's now finally got the ground he wants. Pretty likely race this year, and each race I think would have brought him on just that little bit more. So at a monstrous price, I'm going to chance Garde La Victoire to close out with a massive outsider. 1, 2, 3 for the final race of the festival. Garde La Victoire from Gino Trail and Top Gamble. Once again, guys, thanks for watching all 4 days of this. As I said, 3 days down so far. We've had some pretty good winners, some pretty good runs from those who didn't win. Thanks always for watching. Let us know what you've been doing, winning, losing, whatever it is. And yeah, that's that. Good luck. That's what's done for another year, and see you soon.